Then we're going to take a look at how other teachers kind of perceive how she does things. Because I think sometimes we, as coaches, we have our own specific jargon. And so I think it helps to hear a lot of teachers talking about the same thing in different ways, because I think sometimes that helps it click better. Getting this Windows noise freaking me out, man. What is causing that? Okay, there we go. I was drawing. That's right. One moment, just fixing my glasses. The biggest thing that I think a lot of people are interested in pop music in general, but also specifically for Beyonce, are the belts. For the longest time, the traditional logic dictated that belting was crazy and unhealthy and precarious, and that's obviously nonsense. People have been belting for years and years and years who are still singing into as far as their 90s. It's actually quite a reliable technique. The way it works mechanically is why it's so much more reliable than other means of hitting high notes. I'm gonna get into why in a second. I gotta bring up Z anatomy here. Every time I do this, every single time, and I complain about it every single time, but every single time I do this, same thing always happens. 1 second here. I want to see if sometimes my YouTube stuff gets a little wonky. There we go. Okay, so we are indeed live. Dope. All right, that's that. Talking about the anatomy of belt, I think, is essential. So let's get into that. Oops, that is not at all how you spell larynx. And then for whatever reason, now the muscular system comes up as an option. Do we do insertions? Let's do insertions. We can skip fascia. Okay. We might not actually want insertions. The way that they denote insertions is with like the green stuff, and that can be kind of misleading if you don't know what you're looking at. Welcome to Decapitation, the live stream. Is that the height? No, that was the nose. It's like, we're not even at the mouth yet. I've gotten quite good at, those are the vestibular. I said I'm getting quite good at it, and then I just delete everything that needs to be there. Including the, there we go. That's what I wanted. Get rid of it. You're not my dentist. I don't like you. I don't like the cut of your jib. Finally caught alive. Hey, welcome, MKB. Trying to do these more consistently. So I've been doing them less long. And a little bit more frequently, and a lot more preparation, and I've found that's been good for my mind. Because a lot of times I would just do everything impromptu. Actually, I don't mind that this is one way. It'd be nice to get it back, though. Yeah, I want it back. Well, we're not going to really talk that much about it. And I can always this on the other side. There we go. Okay, here we are. I'll get rid of the omohyoid. And the sternocleidoids, and yada, 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 yada. Yeah, this is where the insertions can be obnoxious. Get rid of those. All right, and we don't need the ligaments. Boom. Here we are. Let's set that up. All right. The way that the belting, the way that the vocal folds work when you belt. These right here, these are the vocal folds, okay? Now what happens is that there are two prevailing theories. We're going to go with just one of them, and that's the thyroid cartilage tilts backwards. If you look, the vocal folds are actually connected to the larynx. This thing right here, your Adam's apple, that's your thyroid cartilage. And the folds are connected to that. The idea is that when the thyroid cartilage tilts back, what you're getting are thicker folds. They're fatter, they're together. That creates a level of reliability. When you sing in a more classical manner, the opposite happens. This thyroid cartilage tilts forward, and that creates a sound that we're familiar with. It's called vibrato. That is how vibrato happens. That is how it works. And when you do that, sorry, I'm trying to look for a thing that stretches. There we go. When you do that, you kind of stretch it out, and then the muscles, you know, there's this fight between the muscles and the stretching, and you get this kind of trembling thing that's vibrato. Those muscles are the cricothyroid muscles that are what cause that phenomena to happen. The existence of those muscles create some of the unreliable elements that we associate with other forms of singing. The problem with belting is that while it's remarkably consistent, it's also remarkably dangerous if you do not know what you're doing. So we're going to go over what Beyonce does, and then I'm going to provide you with guardrails. Okay, so that you don't mess up your voice and you can practice belting. But, you know, definitely keep those safety rails on, all right? When I give them to you, just keep them going and don't practice for too long on these very, very difficult things. You know, even when Beyonce was younger, the belts developed. Let's jump into that. Packing vibrato now, it's not easy. It'll be that way. It'll become easy. A lot of people say that it'll come when you're, yeah, I figured that's what you meant. Yeah. A lot of people will say that like it, you know, comes when you're relaxed, and that's not necessarily true. There is some correlation to comfort, but it's not a one-to-one. The way a lot of people teach it, MKB, is like the whimpering like a dog. Because what ends up happening is you can only raise your larynx so high. Right? That starts to happen. So people start to figure out like, okay, well, if I can't raise my larynx that high, how am I going to keep going up? How am I going to make that sound? And it's a gentle sound. So it works for a lot of people. I didn't learn it that way. I did long notes. And I found that to be, and we're going to go over long notes. I found that to be informative. And actually that was an exercise given to me by a French horn player, I think. They were a wind instrument or brass instrument, I forget. Can't do it in head voice, it's so hard. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. And that's another thing I want to go over, but it's hard to do it when we're talking about belting. But let me do this for you. I want to break it down because I did this in the Discord. I did this in the Discord, but I didn't do it. I didn't film it, which I very much regret because I think this context is really helpful. I'm gonna remove the thyroid cartilage here. Okay. Remove the ligaments. Okay. So when we talk about, let me get paint up as well. We're gonna need that. Actually, it looks better with GIMP. Let's use GIMP. Get that over here. New. We'll do 20 and then 1080. Make that sucker green. We're going to do a green screen which I can write over using a piece of software. So give me a moment. Have to pay attention how I do this. Y is the key. Yeah, and then I have to make that red. Voila, cool. MS Paint works, but it's just so pixely. Let's see. I'm gonna need that. No, I just get the GIMP. Okay. Let me just remove this. And there we go. How much is that gonna work? Make it a little bigger. There we go. Okay. So when it comes to the vocal folds, we only almost ever see it done this way. And there's a lot of reason, there's a good reason why we see that as the sort of the dominant view in which we look at the vocal folds. The difference, there's all that argument between the difference of falsetto and head voice, and that argument is stupid. like, so what happens is that, usually the higher you go, one of two things, well, two things happen, not one of two things. Two things happen. There's less connection. So the connection will start biased towards the thyroid cartilage, right? So quote unquote chest voice, everything's connected. The vocal folds are connected. When we go up into quote unquote head voice, what we'll notice is this happens. The folds come together, but then they stretch out like this. They leave that opening. And that's why you get, let's bring out the spectrogram. Maybe I should just like, I should record this. Come on, Estel. Stop being Estel for a second. Dum da dim dee. Dum. Good. All right. Yeah. Let's go into this. Actually, I mean, if we're talking about it, might as well stream it, right? Okay. Where are we at with that still? All right. So when it comes to head voice versus chest voice versus belt, let's be very clear. Let me explain some of how this works. I have so many fucking windows open. It's like holy shit. Wow, I have so many open. It's hard. I really need my third monitor. I really do. I need to set it back up, if only to have like something. I might actually do that right now, just to plug it in. I'll do it after, but I keep telling myself I gotta plug it in, and this is exactly why. It's fucking windows everywhere. All right. When we look at the vocal folds, we usually look at them top and down, right? We are overhead, and that's how you would look at them via a scope. So that's the view we're used to. And that view is very useful when we're discussing chest voice and head voice, and the general ways that those things apply. Let's see. Go back to the anatomy. I'm gonna turn these off real quick. All right. All right. So this is the top-down view of the vocal folds. All right. And I have an airplane going overhead, so I apologize for that noise and the weird stuttering. I hate living next to an airport. I'm just saying. All right. as we go through different registers, and I'm doing the little quotes here because registers are not a useful or a useless concept, but they don't, they're not elegant. It's a shorthand. The way we want to think of the voice is on a continuum, because that's almost how everything operates here. When does it become head voice? When does it become chest voice? When does it become falsetto? We need to understand how much the folds connect in various parts of the different registers. What is the thing that changes on the continuum? So when we look at the vocal folds, and they're fully adducted, meaning these things right here, these vocal folds right here, they come together completely and entirely. The arytenoids bring them all together, and they are, whoops, on the wrong thing. And they're connected to the thyroid cartilage, which I'll bring back here. They're connected to the thyroid cartilage, okay? So that is going to be the first point of contact. The thyroid cartilage doesn't move. That's the first point of contact. That's where they're going to touch each other quickly and consensually. So I'll do this. So when it's quote unquote chest, right, we're going to get this line right here, and the folds are going to come together. This does change over time. At a certain point, you want the folds to be smaller, and you want them to be smaller because when your pitches, the waveforms that you're trying to create when you create sound and you go higher, the way that it works is that a pitch has a faster oscillation. The waveforms are literally smaller. And this is a very crass explanation, but because the waveforms are smaller, the faster whatever is making the sound, it needs to change. Let's actually just do that with like a card, right? If I do this, you can hear kind of the lower frequencies, right? That air, that obnoxious air sound you're hearing. Now let's go fast. Right? So that speed makes all the difference in the world, but you only get speed when things are lighter and smaller, right? At least that's how it works with the vocal folds. Sorry if I made your ears bleed. So that's what we have here. We have a tool where we can adjust how much connection there is. And at what point this happens is mostly arbitrary because, again, it's on a continuum, right? At any point, this connection can sever is a bit of an extreme graphic word, but you can quote unquote disconnect, right? So head voice has some of the part of the folds not connected. And so we usually at that point start to hear air. And by the way, this is not belting. We're not talking about belting right now. We're talking about what you would call traditional singing, although that is also a problematic definition as well. But regardless, this is how going up works if you're singing classically, I guess, is the best way to put it. So the difference between chest and head, we can actually measure using a spectrogram. Alrighty. Ooh. No. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Let me get rid of this. No. the wrong text there. I need to do that again. All right. So this is how you know that there is some separation in the folds. Oh my God. My automated shit is going crazy. It doesn't know what to do with itself. I'm just gonna turn this off and figure it out one at a time later. All right. Crazy. It's frozen. There we go. All right. There we go. Now let's get rid of the arrow. So this sizzly stuff right here, this kind of white noise thing, that's actually breath leaking. And let's go back to anatomy. And we'll go back to that. Yeah, let's do this. To a certain degree, that's inevitable. You can't stop air from leaking as you go up, kind of. Huge asterisks there, and that's where the meat is, and we're going to get into that. But that's what we're looking at here, is we're looking at a more traditional view. So where does it turn into falsetto? If head voice is, okay, some of the folds are not together, where does falsetto begin? And this is the argument that drives people crazy. And there's no level of academia where it's like, oh yeah, no, like we call it the F word. Everybody fights over it, everybody. But I hope that this explanation will actually help you understand to what degree should we be fighting over this? Here we go. Check this out. As we progress and the folds separate more and more and more, right? So we were there, now maybe we're here. Maybe this is the only thing that's connecting. Is that falsetto? What about here? Maybe it's this at this point, right? Is that falsetto? You can't really quantify what falsetto is because it's based on this continuum. And at certain points, really it degenerates into an argument about aesthetics. We all have a way that we identify falsetto to our ears because there is eventually going to be full open, and I think most people would just, at this point, just acknowledge that it's falsetto, but there's that massive in-between. Let's go back to the spectrogram, and we're just gonna boom, we're just gonna see it, we're gonna hear it, we're gonna see it. And this will end every terrible discussion about falsetto that will ever happen on the internet. We'll have world peace. I'll be able to sleep at night. Or maybe you'll, hopefully post less in the YouTube comments. You got to think about your health. You can't keep doing that to yourself. Let's see. Spectrogram time. I've been having a hard time getting into my falsetto, actually. Especially recently. It used to be pretty easy for me. But I can't do it anymore as easily. I've trained it out of my voice, out of my technique, which is not good. You should be able to do both, and it shouldn't be a problem. Bella figlia dell'amore. Yeah, that's like the best thing. It's tough because I keep the tilt when I do that. It's so that's where, like, when I say it becomes easy and Kibby, it's like this tilt son of a bitch. Just when you're in the habit of it, it doesn't go away, and it keeps the folds together, right? Because as a tilt, it stretches them out. So, ah, bella figlia dell'amore, qual son di questi tuoi? Come un detto, un sol, tua ma. Yeah, that's a good example. Bella figlia dell'amore. Right? When I go up, you can see a little bit of those airy bits, right? A little bit. And then I'm going to go up higher. Quavo sono questi tuoi? Little here. Come un detto, un sol, tua le mia bene consolar. Now you'll notice that there is not a little there, like it's there. There's some little static things, but it's not really that much. That's called training. It's very, very, very difficult to learn to do that because on one hand, you need extremely strong cricothyroid muscles, and so it just takes time. But also, you have to have tremendous efficiencies in your posture, the amount of breath you take in and take out. It takes training. Belting is so different, and let's get into why. It's both miraculous and terrifying. I fucking love this shit. I love this shit. Yeah, there we go. So we're going to change our perspective here. We're top down. We're actually going to change our perspective to right here. We're going to look at it in this plane as soon as we eliminate the ligaments. Love my ligaments. Everybody, all my ligaments in the house, raise up your hand. I don't know, just this is a bad joke that needs to stop right now. So two things happen, right? These are the vocal folds, and they go when the thyroid cartilage tilts for more classical sounds. We get this happening. They stretch out, so they both thin out and they're more taut, so they do vibrate faster, and they can hold together. They can become a little more together as you tilt more and as you sing more efficiently, and that allows you to have a fuller sound with less air escaping. Belting is different. Belting is hard. It's probably the most difficult thing to do in singing, at least doing it well, unless you were raised around it. These suckers, when you belt, do this. If this is your thyroid cartilage tilt for more classical sound, that's belting. The folds come together. And that's where we need to understand thickness. We hear it, we talk about it, but we never see it. And here's where I'm gonna help you right here. There we go. I'll do this. All right, sweet. Bring this back up. I so need that third monitor. Monitor. There we go. When we belt, it's not just that the folds come together. It's that all of this in between, all of it also meet. And that's something we don't talk about when we talk about a top-down view. It's very difficult to appreciate and understand that vocal quote-unquote weight is the amount that the vertical axis is touching. We always think about the horizontal. I guess it depends how you invert these axes, but the point is we usually look at it from top down. We don't think about the amount of contact that we have in here, or at least we think of them separately. When you belt, not only is the distance shorter, you have a shorter distance from here to here, right? They go in like this from the tilting. But then you also have this, where all of this connects, all of it, or at least as much as you can manage. So this creates some really nice context. Right. I didn't think we were going to get into this today, but I'm glad. I think this is important when discussing belting. So I think it's a prerequisite to understanding it. So we're going to go back to this example, right? Ideally, when a belt is done well, there's not going to be a lot of air leakage, right? If they're together. Oh boy. In order to achieve that, you can do it a lot of different ways, but what you don't want to do is you do not, for the love of God, you just do not want to force it. So here's how we're going to put out the guardrails. And here's what's going to allow us to practice the bits that Beyonce is practicing. And, well, not practicing, she's doing. I'm sure she also practices, but we're not going to listen to a practice session. We're listening to the woman belt her face off. Here are those guardrails. I have this. Let's just do it. Yeah, there we go. All right, first things first, I'm going to jump up and down a little bit, okay? Standing is better. So why does this matter? Why are we doing this weird nonsense? In order to belt in such a way where the folds don't split open, we're actually going to need less air. Not to be confused with less support, quote unquote. Less air. Less air needs to exit our face hole. So the way that we're going to do that is by expanding the torso, getting it moving, getting this cardiovascular exercises going so that the rib cage is supple and expands. Some people call this appoggio. I think it's stupid to call it appoggio. I think that's pretentious Italianate nonsense. But here we are. The intercostal muscles contract, and that brings the rib cage outwards. It's actually a really, really good demonstration of this. I really, really want to get this on. It's the diaphragm movement. This is the one. I love this channel. I don't need your speaking voice though, guy. Sorry. It's funny. It's a shame you don't see the intercostals, but yeah. So this is the diaphragm. As it contracts, you'll see that the rib cage expands. So this is important for a couple of reasons. You cannot feel your diaphragm. It has no nerve endings. The idea of diaphragmatic breathing is a farce. If you don't use your diaphragm to breathe, it's because you are dead. So we have to think and focus on things we can control and feel. And the intercostal muscles are really good. But I want to expand your attention to the entire torso. And so that's the whole body. The whole body is affecting the torso. If you do this, there's a contraction on one side and expansion on the other, vice versa, all of that. We want it as expanded as humanly possible in order to keep our belt super, super safe. Here's the trap, though. If I expand my rib cage as much as I can, I'm going to be taking in more air. And that's bad, at least for this. So if we take in a big breath, we'll feel everything expand. Oh boy, that feels nice and good. Now we need to exhale everything. Okay, here's guardrail number 1. We're going to exhale everything, quote unquote. Exhale, y'all. There we go. Look at that. I got video editing, kind of. Y'all are going to exhale all of what you got, okay? And that's going to keep this from happening. Check this out. What did I do with my background removal one? It's like I could do... Was it here? What did I do with it? I think I erased that. I'm going to bring that back. That was really cool. I like that one. Let me bring it in my notes. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna bring it into my my address, my direct address thing. That's tough because it'll switch. I do it on the scene. I'll think about it. I'll think about it. Yeah, I'll do it later. It's like this cool little thing. For the longest time, I was like, how do people do that? If I have this above my head, how can I put my head above the text? And the answer is a different layer with background removal. It's fucking brilliant. I love it. It's so good. Anyway, okay, exhale. That's the first thing. So the first thing you got is the exhale. Next thing, and this is going to piss people off, but we're just using it in order to get somewhere, okay? This is not the final result. We're going to do something very naughty. We're going to nasalize our vowels for a good reason. When the soft palate goes down, what's happening is that you're allowing air to go through your nostrils. So when I say nasalize the vowels, I'm actually saying open up your soft palate. It's like a release valve. It's so much easier to sing nasally. And as we get comfortable on a note, we can then grow into the note by lifting our soft palate over time. And that's how we're going to practice belting, is we're going to get up there and we're going to try to stay there for a reasonable amount of time, not for too long and not too short. We're going to get up to something that feels comfortable and achievable. We're not going to go for B. We're not going to go for notes that we can't hit. We have to go on a note that we can hit, but it's not quite perfect. And then we work on it from there. So let me get into that one. I'm basically like doing a course, and I'll probably get shit views, but I'm sure there are a couple people who will appreciate it. So I'm also like trying to practice. No, Anya. Don't make me kick you out of the room again. This is not your time. I'm home all day and she still wants attention. It's ridiculous. All right, hold on. What is it doing? Her adorableness caught me off guard. No, Anya, stop it. You know the rules. Come on. I gotta kick her out. No, Anya, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Feels so bad. Her eyes are like adorable. All right, let's get back to it. So we're gonna get into this, and we're gonna take a note actually from Beyonce. That's how we're gonna start. Okay. Let's see. No, I actually have the video, which is gonna be nice. So that's actually not a belt. And it's actually going a little flat. And here's why. And by the way, when I say someone goes flat, I am saying that people are human and not perfect. Y'all, I can't even begin to tell you how exhausting a tour is. No one's going to be a perfect voice all the time, always. But let's just call it what it is. It's a flat note, but we can talk about it and still recognize the fact that Beyonce is an incredible singer. Incredible. And anyone who says otherwise is objectively wrong. But this is flat, and we're going to talk about why. And we're going to also talk about why why it's not a belt. Because this is a trick that a lot of people don't see or hear. It's funny, because that's usually how people prompt. Anya wants love. Yeah, I know. She deserves it, but it's only possible to give love when the electric bill is paid. So, yeah, I really need to change up the scenes here. This is the 2000s. Yeah, you can tell. So this is not a belt. What this is she is doing a thyroid cartilage tilt and then holding it with tension, which is why it goes flat. And the pitch is wavering. And when we're talking flat, we're talking like 1 cent, which is like a 100th of a pitch. It's not that flat. Actually, probably most people wouldn't hear it. But you can certainly hear the transition into nasality. This is the fake belt. It is done often. And we need to identify what that is. A fake belt is the thyroid cartilage tilt where things are stretched out and you stop the vibrato by creating tension. The result is the vowel gets a little nasalized. Yeah, I always need to take it down whenever I'm trying to incorporate anything like this. Like, I don't have like a super high voice. Yeah, that's the note. We're gonna go with this, with the notes saved for me. Ha! Ha! Yeah. Ah! That's actually closer to in between. Ah! Ah! There we go. That's what she's doing. So what she's doing is this. Ah! It's a little flat. The nasal passages are open by default. It's not a belt. This is a belt. Ah! Ah! So bad. I don't practice belt. Ah! Yeah, there we go. Ah! That's a belt. I want to hear what that sounds like, because it's like that fucking ring. I can never tell what it sounds like, so give me 1 second. That's a belt. Is that a belt? What's that scratching? That's a belt. Huh. Regardless. Now here's how we measure the quality of that belt. Let's look at how much air leaked. You can get a spectrogram online, by the way. You just need to look up a spectrogram. There's some free ones. Some are convoluted, some are simple. Ah! Here's how we know that that's not a good belt. Here's how we know. Hey, Defiant. Not much. I'm getting way more technical and involved with this stream than I had intended at all. But here we are. All right. This air leaking, the folds are supposed to be boom together, right? So why is there air leaking? Now, to a degree, right, that they have to oscillate. They don't just like hold together, they move, right? So certain amounts of air are definitely leaking. But that hiss sound that you were hearing, that's from air escaping. The quality of the note is not static to it. It kind of changes. Obviously, here it's at its worst, like right above there. But this is why belting is tricky. You can think to yourself, I have a good belt here. Or you can try to fake the belt. But at the end of the day, there is a very easy way to determine when it's a belt and when it's a good belt. So, that said, let's take a look at Beyonce's second note here, which is choice. Choice? Choice. There we go. I swear I know how to internet. All right. That. And it gets better. And it gets better. And it gets better. The difference in the tone quality is remarkable. It's remarkable. That's 5 years. That what we were just shown was a span of 5 or 6 years. It sounds simple. It sounds like a simple thing to get right, but it's not. We all have to remember that the vocal folds for women, estrogen-laden folds is the politically correct term. We have to remember that estrogen-laden folds are about the size of a dime. So we're talking about all of this different control, all of this stuff, and really we're just talking about this little piece here, this little thing that can get completely overpowered by the rest of your body. Singing is astonishing. It's amazing. It's incredible we can even do it. And when we look at someone like Beyonce, over just this 5-year period of time, it's such a difference in mastery. It sounds so simple. It sounds so just like I'm telling you this, like, oh, that's how it works. But doing it, holy crap. And that's why this woman is a legend, because this is 10 years ago. This is what she sounded like 10 years ago. You bet your ass she sounds better now. That freedom. Usually as a singer gets more experience, there's this evenness of bright and dark tone qualities. A belt is particularly hard to get into a place where it's kind of lush. This is a part of her range for Beyonce and people who have voices like her, where it's a transition. It's very difficult. It's hard to get like a good meaty belt at this sort of weird breaking point. And so what we see is, instead of her putting more power behind it, what we're hearing is more resonance. Not the same thing. we can control resonance by shaping our vowels, our vocal tract. And that creates resonance. So she is doing this. I gotta get my guardrails on. Now I'm not a belter per se. I'm practicing it. You know, like I said, there's a difference between knowing and doing. So I'm gonna use these safeguards that if you don't feel comfortable belting, please, for the love of God, at least start practicing. While you're warming up, use the safeguards that we talked about. Nasality and exhaling everything, okay? Protect yourself. You don't need to injure yourself to get good at belting. Do it smart, do it right, and have patience. I think I'm fucking up on the... Let me check the jump cuts here. I'm not a belter per se. I'm practicing it. You know, like I said, there's a difference. While you're warming up, use the safeguards that we talked about. Nasality and exhaling everything, okay? Protect yourself. You don't need to injure yourself. Oh yeah, sounds okay. All right. Ah! Ah! Yeah, I'm so much better with the thyroid tilt. Let's get a lower note. B flat is a bit much for me. Let's see. Let's do it in the same kind of like weird transition spot. Let's go F or E. Ah! See, that's the attempt to just ah! That's the attempt to just like hold the thyroid cartilage and think you're belting. Ah! Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird break. It's weird to do on the break. We can experiment with resonance by just kind of morphing the vowels a little bit. I'm going to go into a part of my range that's kind of a break. And that way we can kind of replicate the awkwardness that happens when you kind of have to move from more of your mid and lower range into this where you start to kind of go up and belt. Ah! Hear that stiffness? There's a stiffness and there's a lack of brightness. When we get more comfortable, we'll see this, and this is why people say opening up the voice. You'll hear it. As a singer gets better and better and better, there's this freedom that happens to where this tension goes away, and you start to get this kind of bright little gem sort of thing going on where it's like almost crystal. And it's a tone quality that we hear in this from Beyonce, and it's really, really an attractive sound, I think. I'm a big fan of this. It's pretty darn good, isn't it? And what you hear is this lushness, too. She's got the right balance. Again, this is very hard to do in this weird transition point. Immediately when we jump to the B, immediately, it's easier and it's more compelling. Listen again for this change. Listen again for it. It's a phenomenal change. We're going to hear it over time. I love this video. Thank you for whoever put this together. I'll put the little @ thing. This is not my compilation. Someone else did it, and they're going to be on the screen right now. Check them out. This is a great compilation. Yeah, some of these are not belts. That's definitely a belt. So the C for women is generally where we start seeing the belt really shine. And this is more where you're going to find people being a lot more comfortable belting. It's in this range right here. Now, I want to be very clear, because I said that vibrato denotes tilting that is not necessarily belting. That's not true. You can do both at the same time. Can I play the Pokemon theme song? Let's see. I wanna be... Where's the tab? I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. Alright, let's see. Let's do this. I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. Alright, and then we gotta go higher. I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. It's terrible. We're gonna try that again. I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. I don't know if that's gonna work. I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. It's boring. It works, but it's boring. I don't know. We'll keep it. I wanna be the very best that no one ever was. All right. I wanna be the very best like no one ever was. All right. Let's see. I wanna be the very best like no one ever was. All right. That's your harmony for today. I think I can add one more. I wanna be. Yeah, actually, for belting, this might be a good one. I wanna be the very best that no one ever was. Oh, that's boring. I recorded my own criticism. Let's go. All right. I wanna be the very best that no one ever was. Ah, the last bit is not good. It's difficult to get the balance right without an EQ. Now you got me. Now you got me. You got me going now. No, I want this. I want to edit. And there we go. That should stay in the center. It should go. Okay, that's right. That's this. And then this should be in the center. And then we should layer it. Is what we would do. I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. That last note, no bueno. It's funny too, because that's when I started thinking about it. And that's when I started commenting on my voice. It's always the trap. Anyway, there's your Pokemon theme song. What are we going on about? Nice. That. Listen, okay, this woman's been singing her entire life. Her entire life. Listen to the improvement. I have chills. I'm like, it's so fantastic and inspiring. It's so easy. It's so clean. It's still got the weight to it, right? It's still got the weight that we usually associate with belt. But man, that's an attractive sound. She doesn't start from a bad place. Like when we're 10 years ago, when we're in 1999, she's not a bad singer at all. She's still a fantastic singer, but the thing that makes Beyonce amazing is she is relentless. You bet your bunions, which is a term I haven't heard in a long time, but we're bringing it back for this video. You bet your bunions that she's every day, every single day,
with few days off here and there because she's a sane human being. But every day that she is up for it, she is working on her body because her performances are remarkably physical. She is in amazing top tier shape. And that also reflects. Sorry, y'all got me looking at the chat. Can I analyze the Pokemon theme? I mean, can I analyze the melody? I'd probably do harmony first, but I would actually need to see like a chord progression or something, because you can harmonize endlessly. So harmonic analysis is probably not very helpful. I could talk about a singer specifically, if there's that sort of a thing. But I don't know. Anyway. I really want to fix the last one. Y'all got me like thinking about the Pokemon theme, and this last belt on here is so bad.
I wanna be the very best that no one ever was.
And here's what's interesting about belting, too. One thing that's really interesting about belting is that a fundamental quality of it is the contraction of the areoepiglottic sphincter. I gotta bring it back now. Do I have... I just gotta do this. I hate doing this. Okay, that'll do for now. Alright, okay, so this is not the best. There's two of these. Just imagine there's one on the other side. This right here, atop of the false fold, which are top of the vocal folds, right? We have an areoepiglottic muscle. There's two on each, or there's one on each side, so there's two of them. When they contract, they create a sphincter, the areoepiglottic sphincter. What this does is it does two things. It creates this sort of Fran Fine sound, because that's actually what Fran Drescher does. When she is, oh my God, Mr. Chef. It sounds nasally, but it's not. It adds a brighter quality. It allows high notes to be easier, and it raises the larynx a little bit. A fundamental quality of a belt is the contraction of the areoepiglottic sphincter. Happens in opera too. It's a great way to project, but the frequency range that it covers can be obnoxious. I want to show you this. Let's do an Estel. I'll analyze my own singing of the theme song. How about that? Is that good enough? Let's see, Estel. I wanna be the very best that no one ever was. Yeah, it goes flat there, but here we are. I had to drag this over. This placement here is not great. Oh, smaller. But we need to see the frequency range. Yeah, 2.5K. So what you'll see here is around 2.5K hertz, and this is the case with tenors. Obviously, it changes on your voice type. But sopranos do, when they contract the areoepiglottic sphincter, do have the tendency to hit a range of frequencies that are obnoxious to the ear. So I want you to listen to this real quick. I want to be the very best that no one ever was. We're going to ignore the fact that that last note is actually terrible. Look at all of the highlighting of these frequencies right around that area. This is what the contraction of the areoepiglottic sphincter does. So this matters because it's inherently an obnoxious sound, which is why when someone sounds pretty when they belt, it's like mind-boggling. Because what they're doing is they're balancing the resonance. When you contract the areoepiglottic sphincter, those obnoxious frequencies are highlighted. And so it takes a level of mastery to compensate for that and bring in a level of warmth, because you have to do that very easily and with a lot you can't have a lot of tension, right? Belting is already really difficult. So you can't manipulate stuff. You have to have a comfort, and then you have to have a flexibility and familiarity with the note that is so profound that you can change the quality of that sound, even though those frequencies are highlighted and naturally amplified. So when I say that Beyonce is a pretty belt, or when people say that Whitney Houston's belt they're so lush, that's hard earned in a way that's really hard to communicate. It's very difficult. And now I'm going to actually make the Pokemon theme song where I don't mess it up, because that's my childhood and I'm murdering my childhood. Getting a little scratchy though. Again, I don't belt often. I want to be the very best that no one ever was. It's a little bit better, but it's not quite it. I want to be the very best that no one ever was. Let's see. I think it sounds like shit, probably. Let's see. I want to be the very best that no one ever was. It's better than last time, but let's add an EQ to get rid of those frequencies that are obnoxious. Now, one thing you can do to get rid of those obnoxious frequencies and cheat a little bit is you can use an EQ, an equalizer, to isolate those frequencies and bring them down. Let's see. Let's see how this sounds. I want to be the very best that no one ever was. I want to be... Listen, I make up words. That no one, like no one, that no one... Did I say that? Is that what I did? I want to be the very best that no one ever was. Jeez, okay. Yeah, it is wrong. Now, we're going to ignore the terrible harmonies around it, but take a look at this, and this is what an EQ does. It's like a nice little trick, a nice little hack here. I want to be the very best that no one ever was. Sounds so much different, doesn't it? And there's a reason for that. If you look at this, this is more idiomatic of a belt where everything is kind of evenly stacked and the intensity. So the way a spectrogram works is that the brightness of the frequency denotes the volume. So you can see this is how a proper belt should ideally look like, where everything is kind of almost on equal levels. It's incredible. It's a wall of sound. Belting is incredible. And there are levels to this shit. But you'll see that because I used an EQ, it sounds better. And I just removed the EQ from my speaking voice, but it sounds better. And it looks better on as far as what qualities we want to see in a belt. So if you're impatient, you don't want to practice for 10 years and then another 10 years so that your belts are as good as Beyonce. This is a quick little superficial hack that you can use. Hey, Tink. It's addictive. What is that like a meme that's going around? Is that what's happening? Because like I'm not hip with the kids, so if it's a meme, I gotta be educated here. It is catchy, isn't it? I still love the Power Rangers theme more. That thing is metal as fuck. I love the Power Rangers theme. Feel bad. That was a good woman I had a one-night stand with that she was interested in more things, and I was kind of a dick about it. Without noting I was a dick about it, and this was when I was young, and she showed me how metal the Power Rangers theme song was, and I'm eternally grateful to her, even though she probably hates my guts. Yeah. Nice lady, very attractive. Fuck that one up. Anyway, we're here.
I love the fucking way this shit works. It's so fun to me. Let's see. Where was I? Oh yeah, Beyonce. That whole chestnut. So I want you to hear this correction here. This is like flat happens. It just does. Like people get flat because they're not perfect human being robots. But a good singer fixes it. I love this quote from Heifetz. They asked, "How are you never flat?" He's like, "Oh, I'm flat. I just fix it as I go." Heifetz being probably one of the greatest violin players of all time. He's incredible. And that's the thing. He's like, I just slide and I fix it. And listen to Beyonce doing that. This is like, she's like, oh, that's not quite perfect. I'm going to make this adjustment right here. Like, it's incredible. You can tell that she's like, okay, let me lighten this up. Yeah, she fixed the hell out of that real quick. It's interesting because who would win in a fight, Beyonce or Jigglypuff? Beyonce can't put people to sleep with her singing. I'm gonna go with Jigglypuff. Like Beyonce sings and you want to get up and you're like, yeah. Jigglypuff sings and you're like, right. So like in a fight, Jigglypuff's gonna put Beyonce to sleep. Nothing you can do about them. Jigglypuff takes that every day. I love this bit. So she starts as she hits the note. This is a whole process. It's great. It's fantastic. She's hitting that note. She's about to go on it. She's like, "Oh, that's not gonna work." Right? The body changes every day, and need I remind you, the instrument for this woman is about the size of a dime. Okay, so the level of attention and ability is already phenomenal at this point in her career. She's gonna slide up and be like, "Oh, that's not gonna work." So she quiets it down. And then she starts playing with the vowel. She finds the comfort. She's like, okay, this is not working out. I'm gonna go quiet. I'm gonna grow into it, and then I'm gonna mess with the vowel until it sounds good. And this all happened in like half a second. Now listen to the richness of this one. It just keeps getting better and better. Now, it's worth mentioning, I just want to make sure that this is communicated. When you belt, you still are working with the limitations of your instrument. As one grows older, the vocal folds are similar to the nose, they just keep growing. So as you grow older, there is a lot more of a depth that happens to the voice. This is particularly true when you have children. So Beyonce's sound right here is not just mastery of technique, it's also she's growing with her instrument. And a lot of people actually don't grow well with their instrument. So it's pretty darn good now. Oh, I love the AOL sessions. Ah! Ah! Compression gets louder over time in the music industry. Holy crap. God, that was loud.
It is crazy how much better she's gotten. She's taken it down a notch in the last decade because, I mean, just at a certain point, your voice isn't going to be able to do shit as well as it used to. So she's been smart about her career. Yeah, this woman is a champion. She's a champion's champion. She's remarkable. And that is us talking about Beyonce's belt. What do other people think about her belting? What about her runs? What about her other fantastic demonstration of techniques? Jigglypuff makes me feel better about being a singer. I might make mistakes with my voice, but they are not so consistent as to put people to sleep. Not sure if that's actually better. Like, if you're going to sleep, maybe it's relaxing, right? Maybe you're just like, your voice is like ambient. Ooh, and like it's just like a fucking, ooh, it's the wind. Oh, I'm so relaxed. Boom. Maybe keeping people awake with your voice is not a good thing. Ah! What the fuck is that? Ah! Fucking. All right. Ah! Is that a high note or is it Tarzan? I can't tell the difference. She's gotten so much better. It's crazy. I'm gonna end it with this. Everyone always talks 10 years and 10,000 hours. I think that's the beginning. I do. I think that's where shit starts. So 1994-ish is when Beyonce started her career. And so we were going to as far back as 2003, I think, in some of these. She's got her 10 years and 10,000 hours. That's where she started. When you're there, I love this one. Go look at any of the really, really big YouTubers who are instrumentalists. You'll see that their oldest video is like 10 years old. And they were good. They were good in their video that was 10 years old. 10 years and 10,000 hours is when you start. That's your getting your fundamentals. From there, that's what the difference between 10 years and 20 years is a difference of excellence. And it's just like you can get burnt out so easily pushing so hard to be so good at something. But damn it, if you have it in you, like Beyonce does, and that's not everybody. A big part of talent is the opportunity to keep working on something with absolute focus. And she certainly earned that. That's not luck. But damn, did she take every ounce of that opportunity to become tremendous. She became talented in her first 10 years, and then the decade following, she became a phenomena. Yeah, I honestly think that who should react to Kiki Wyatt versus Beyonce. I've tried doing the whole like. I find that, and maybe this is an assumption that can be rectified, but I find a lot of people resent when I put black artists against other black artists. I've noticed that doesn't do well. Like if I put Mariah against somebody or like, someone else, but like a lot of people who people want positivity. What I'll do is I'll do like the genius of Kiki Wyatt and the genius of Beyonce and like how the different singers, and I can talk about that. I mean, they're both amazing. They're phenomenal, and I love both of them. So absolutely would talk about it. Who's Beyonce? Who's this Beyonce person? I don't know. Some people, is she Pokemon? Trying to think of a catch 'em all joke about her career. Like she caught every Grammy, except she's been robbed by the Grammy several times. I don't know. But if any singers collected them all, understand my point of view, my reference is 150. When they started going past 150, I was like, this shit is crazy. All right? The poke rap was already work. You're going to make me work harder? Fuck that noise. Fuck it. The video has a massive. You're saying Lou has a massive collection? Have you? Did you try to send the link? Because sometimes the link. Maybe in the new series, did she beat the Elite Four? Come on, we've all beaten the Elite Four. All right, we all struggled at first with that dugong motherfucker water gym person with his fucking ice beam and his sleep. We crushed that. We got to Gary. That motherfucker. We beat that motherfucker. And then it was so hard. But then we caught Mewtwo. And then it was over. Everyone was fucked. So did Beyonce beat the Elite Four? Who hasn't? The Elite Four were a stepping stone for all of us. A metaphor for the beginning obstacles of our life. We're thrown water, we're thrown ice, fire, psychic damage. We're all thrown that shit in our lives, but we overcome. And then we get Mewtwo, and the game's fucking broken as hell. But yeah, that's yeah. Learning the craft and perfecting it, knowing it, and utilizing it. Yeah. Have I done a reaction to Yeba? Yes, I think 2 or 3. I think I did her Tiny Desk. Oh, your husband? Appreciate that. Yeah, I feel like I'm at the beginning of my channel. I'm at the infancy right now. I'm not at 10 years and 1,000 hours at all with YouTube. I'm getting there, but it's a process. Electric bid. I appreciate that, Madcap. But sorry about all the restrictions, but like, you know how it is with moderation and the internet. I was gonna practice some of the runs, but just like I don't belt often. It just my voice is already tired from it. It's not good. So I'm gonna put the cap up for that one. Oh, I did. Yeah. My man. The fucking arpeggios. Man. 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 Ah. Oh. Yeah, no, Yeva's so good. Her technique is so interesting, too. She takes, like, the smallest inhales. Man. I can't do it, because, like, I'm so used to dealing with so much breath as the opera. But her technique is just so precise, because she is so relaxed and she takes the littlest amount of air, and that allows her to do all of this crazy shit that she does with her runs and her musical precision. Like it's an extreme version of singing lightly, and she uses it really well for some really cool shit. Yeva's pretty nuts, really cool. Mine. I used to find runs to be so easy. And as I get older, like I never had to practice runs when I was younger. Now I have to. Like before it was like I could just whip out like a che d'amore la fiamma io sento un'onza di giubilo e di contento d'ardor insolito che sta a scendere e di me steso maggior mi fa maggior mi fa maggior mi fa. But now like I that's with not a lot of air, right? The thyroid cartilage is not tilted a lot, so the folds move a lot better. So when you do, like, I've been learning to have this kind of like this bigger sound, but the problem is that when you want to do runs, you actually have to back off quite a bit. So it's thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a father's. I forget the word. Thou shalt dash them in pieces, Yeah. Like a father's vessel. Like, I have to work for that shit now. I have to pay attention. Could be way cleaner, too. The high notes are garbo. But I'm, been using my fucking voice all day, so. Hallie's voice is fucking stunning. Gorgeous. Can I sing Single Ladies? No. I don't know. I don't know the words. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, vocal athletes are fucking. It's a great metaphor. Mozart is probably the biggest pain in the ass. Il mio tesoro can go to hell. Like, Handel is a bitch. But you can, like, make shit up with Handel and, like, make your life a little bit better. But fucking Il mio tesoro can go to fucking hell. It's so tough. It's really hard for tenors to do Mozart when they're bad or when they're young. So this is the line I had to practice for like 10 fucking years. Is Chenicot, Chenicot, dia, sugar. I spent years working on that fucking shit. And it's hard because you grow and you grow and you grow, and then you have to go to the run. Have I ever reacted to Arabic singing? No, but I would love to. I think a lot of like Middle Eastern and Eastern music theory does a far better job describing melody than Western theory, which focuses almost entirely on harmony. There's that analyst, I forget his name. It's like a super convoluted, sophisticated music theory way of trying to discern melody out of harmonic ideas. And it's so convoluted, I think it's probably worthless, but God, what is it? It's gonna bother the fuck out of me. Shankarian analysis. That's the West's best attempt at describing melody. But the Middle Eastern ones are theories are just fucking so much better at it. They're not encumbered by this like sometimes you can it's like having quantum mechanics and relativity. These things don't mix together, but they don't have to, right? You don't have to have a theory that's logically it's worth the effort, but it's been fucking centuries, right? So if at this point it's like, let's take Middle Eastern melodic theory and we'll keep that because it's great, and then we'll keep the harmonic shit, and that's great, and we'll just use both where it's applicable. So, yeah. Is that girl by the door? I don't know. I had a girl by the door? Is this the fucking ring? Excuse me, a little burp. Ego is Hard by Harrison. Y'all are asking for shit, and I want to do it, but I'm so bad at learning stuff. It's cool to get requests, though. I fuck with that. I was gonna write songs about puppies, but doing requests, it's pretty good too. Alto and my daughter, we sang together in church. It's crazy how naturally we harmonize together. God, is it hereditary? No, I don't think so. Blending is a craft in and of itself. And the problem with blending is that a lot of people will do it and they'll in order to achieve a good blend, they'll compromise their technique. It takes so much control to create a combination of vowels where there's a resonance and you're not compromising technique. A good example of this is this at a failed attempt is this shit that I just did. I wanna be the very best. There's no blending there. Like if I crank the other two up, still no blending. I wanna be the very best. Actually, the other two harmonies are actually decently blended, but not the main melody. And so the point I'm getting to there is you have a situation with your daughter where you've heard each other's voices, and anatomically you're similar. So the answer is both, because what you need to do to achieve like sounds from one another is not so far-fetched as it is for maybe another person with a radically different structure of their anatomy and their vocal tract and all that goodness. So that's the answer to that one. A little bit both. They sing in Makums and each Makam, I don't even know. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Describes an emotion, say sadness and nostalgia. Fuck yeah. It's like the ragas in a way. That's my only point of reference. I'm not trying to diminish or water down or compare. I just, with a single thread for a single song. What is the difference between green and blue in the chat? I have all of my chats consolidated. Let's do this. So no one know, like, I'm responding to a lot of people on a lot of different platforms. So so I should have had this up when we're chatting. So that I'm not just talking to people that aren't there yet. When I do that, as long as I don't respond, that's how I know I'm still sane for now. Never took any formal lessons, only practiced with lead singer and followed their instructions. Would love to take lessons though. Lessons are great if you feel stuck. If you don't know how to progress, finding a teacher that helps you progress is great. It's a massive unlock. We all have a tendency to get stuck doing the same thing over and over again, and that's the death of progress. But there is a lot of idea of oh, if you don't have a vocal teacher, you're gonna fuck up your voice, and you'll do some shit wrong, and it's not good. Maybe, but the same thing could be said about getting a bad teacher. So the thing I say is, if you're not progressing, that's the time to get lessons. And a good teacher should, lesson 1, provide you with some exercises that help. And I find that often is not the case. In one single lesson, you should learn something. And if you don't, you shouldn't go back and pay that person your money. In my opinion, I think bad voice teachers are a dime a dozen. There's so many reasons for that. Oh, there's an alto, and our voices blend fairly well naturally as well. A familiarity thing. Yeah, yeah, and maybe you could get into the sound of someone's voice is familiar, but I feel like that may be shoehorning it a little bit. But I don't know. We're to look down at y'all and then try to respond by looking up at the camera. It's not easy. These are the difficult things about being a content creator. Being a content is so hard. It's so hard to make videos. Oh my god, you just don't understand me. Oh my god. I know some people get overhead and they start restaurants, and that's really scary and hard, but YouTube is fucking hate people. YouTube is by far the easiest shit that you can do for a small business. There's no overhead. Unless you have employees, that does become overwhelming and difficult, but fucking anyway, that's a whole nother thing. Everyone can sing somewhat, so everyone wants to be an expert. I mean, I also think that There is that Dunning-Kruger curve, um, for sure. But then there are also people who just want to make money. And I was actually listening to great video. It's a great YouTube video I was watching, and they were discussing uh, people who wanted to sell online courses. The second they got traction on their YouTube channel, they made a course and they tried to sell it. Online courses are a meme. Like, if you're paying for an online course and it's a lot of money, fucking run. Run for the fucking hills. I don't like that shit. Like, a lot of times, like, people there are people who are creators, who are singing coaches, who are good, who have courses online, and I'm like, maybe buy one or two of those, but to be honest, you can't beat personal attention and personal coaching. There's just no replacement for that. That's where I mean, like, if you get stuck, like, you're doing a bunch of shit, there's a bunch of exercises you're doing, and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing to get better, I don't know what my problem is. That's not the time to buy a course. That's the time to buy a lesson for a one-on-one. That's what that is. Anyway. Was Hereditary? Nah. No, it's not. You can learn it. You can learn to sing. That idea that you have it or you don't is a farce. Um, not to say that talent doesn't exist. I think the best education, and I say this wholeheartedly, is to be around it. I think the reason why we see gospel singers consistently be outstanding is because there is a culture of excellence in singing that style. You spend every week, mostly most Sundays of your life, going and communing with people that are also having this spiritual experience. So every gospel performer I've ever heard is singing from their guts. There's this depth of whether or not you're religious doesn't matter. There's a depth of spirituality that is consistent across all gospel singers. I've never heard a subpar or mediocre performance ever. And then, in the communities that exist for gospel, the singing is at such a high level. So, and everyone's singing together. So I think that sort of a thing develops an expertise. So, a lot of the good singers at Temple that went on to do something interesting started in choirs. I'm less of a believer in that because you're never an individual in that situation. But yeah, so there's being around it, right? There are conditions that increase the likelihood of someone being good. So talent is hard to quantify because there's opportunity, there's surroundings, there is maybe some people breathe or walk around in a way that just happens to coincide more with singing. People who have a calmer temperament, like there's all kinds of factors. We call it talent because I think it's hard to go into someone's life and really measure where it happened and why it happened. But if it hasn't been in your life, that doesn't mean you can't insert it into your life. It makes it harder if you want to compete, but you can learn it. Anyway. Really sing to sing in my face if I'm using the dynamics correctly because I just don't know how loud is too loud. Audio stuff helps with that. Just getting audio, anything. What am I thinking about? Just like the spectrogram, you can get those for free. The jankiest way to do it, but it works, is go in front of a wall and sing. Like, just face the fucking wall and you'll hear yourself real good. So I don't like that one because sometimes people are loud. and that's justified to be loud sometimes, and that can be painful when you're right next to the wall singing loud. So those are some tricks though. You know, how much do you need compression on your mic and stuff like that? One can't learn to sing. Oh, I'm not swinging. I'm not deriding your statement. Sorry, just to make clear, I wasn't deriding your statement, and nor did I think that that's what you were putting out there. It's more of a personal frustration. I apologize. I should have clarified that. From soft to loud. All the songs that I love have a lot of vocal switching. Yeah, it makes them interesting. Yeah, sorry, Swirl Gang, if I gave the impression that that was a personal thing. That's my bad. It's also something I've had to think a lot about. You know, I have to reconcile the fact that like some people are better than me despite my decades, or not decades yet, soon to be on 20 years of singing. And I don't have as much to show for it as a lot of other people. And you could say that that's a matter of talent. I don't know. This is where it gets like deeply philosophical for me. This is an existential crisis I've had to reconcile. Falsetto to belting and then back to falsetto. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for understanding. You would have liked what we covered earlier in here, Tink, like at the start of the live stream. I'm going to post a condensed version where all the silence is cut out and shit like that, because I think that there's different levels of like people's interest in the content. People show up for the live and listen to the thing the whole way through, regardless of the silencing and the editing. Then there's the kind of like lightly edited, silence is cut out. You know, everything's kind of smashed together, like Beyonce and belting. Like, they're like, okay, and they'll, you know, that'll be like a 40-minute video instead of like an hour and a half, and they'll listen to that. And then the people who don't want to fucking listen to that shit, and they want the straight reactions, or they want the clips, right? So I've found that there's a lot of value in just taking the same fucking thing and chopping it up 8 different ways. You know, and it's crazy how effective it is as well from a marketing point of view. It's not a new concept. The upside down pyramid has been a concept on social media for like last 5 years or something. You take long form and you chisel it down. Might just start that process right now. I just might move that shit into I want to rearrange the videos, so actually I'm not going to do that. Let me bring it up though, Tank. This is a so when it comes to head voice versus chest voice versus belt, let's be very clear. Let me explain some of how this works. When we look at the vocal folds, we usually look at them top and down, right? We're overhead, and that's how you would look at them via a scope. So that's the view we're used to. That view is very useful when we're discussing chest voice and head voice, and the general ways that those things apply. They are connected to the part completely and entirely. Bring together. Yeah. So I talk about vocal closure there. Let me send you this. I'll give you the link on Discord. I start really technical in that video. I'm gonna try to front load it with some Beyonce. So it's interesting that people are showing up on the Twitch. It's kind of cool. I thought organic reach on Twitch was just dead, like dead. I mean, definitely, you know, organic is like platform specific um traction is not significant enough to actually make a valid career live stream or anything like that. But
I haven't.
Interesting. I have 4 people watching. Holy shit. That's actually a good number for me. Yes, I do well on my YouTube, but live streaming is a different kind of beast, a different kind of content. So we're gonna get. I'm excited about this. We're gonna get a. I've been working with a developer, and we're gonna have a way to track activity on both Twitch and YouTube. Sorry, Kick, but you're the bastard child here, and Facebook, I don't like you anymore. So it's just going to be Twitch and YouTube because those are the APIs we have access to. And for every interval of time where someone has interacted or chatted or engaged, they're going to earn a channel currency that is usable both on YouTube and on Twitch. So it doesn't matter what platform you're on unless it's Kick or Facebook. I'm sorry, you're fucked. But if you're on Twitch or YouTube, you'll grow this kind of currency where you'll be able to buy reactions. And I really like that because I think that the only doing paid reactions fragments the channel. I don't hate people that just that's all they do, but I don't like doing that. And because I do AdSense is a major form of revenue for me, probably the biggest. I can do that sort of a thing. Yeah, we're almost done with it. The Twitch API is being an asshole. Integration is fucking because we're trying to. So we're pulling from 2 different APIs, and then we're storing the data on a AWS SQL server. And it's lean. The amount of data is not tremendous. And we're pruning it, right? Like we don't have to keep track of every message. We just have to keep track of when the points were. So the database will only become expensive. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know if it'll exceed the level of storage on SQL that would even require a paid service. Hey, Zoomer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was Zoomer taken a lot, or just you just didn't want to mess with it? So I did that with I was a kid. As I had a bunch of different handles that were atrocious. Like I fucking I just like write some of them out because like they require writing. You look like an ultimate nerd. Thank you. I am. I will say though, I have to level up. I shaved my neck beard, but you know I'm still a nerd because of the razor burns. Right? The bad hair, the broken glasses. We talked about Pokemon for quite a while. It's great. So I try to be the ultimate nerd. Why did you shave the neck beard? I watched years ago a Queer Eye moment where the guy was like, if you want the scruff, the kind of the rough scruffle look, what you'll do is just take one go against the grain on your neck. And then like I thought it was a good idea. I was actually talking to Defiant about this. I thought it was a good idea. Then I realized I have no fucking hair here. So I look like a fucking mess, which is accurate most of the time. I am indeed a fucking mess. But I try not to be. It just ends up not working. So why did I shave the beard? Misguided attempts at an aesthetic that I cannot yet achieve, if ever. So that's the answer to that one. Anyway, these are some of the silly names that I've had. It's hard to do with Banger font. Let me do a different font so you can actually see all the weird. I don't even know what this one is. Is that's a 0. And then I would like permutate that. So this would be the O. Goblin. That's how you spell it, right? But it was like and then everyone had the joke that I was goblin. These nuts. And then the thing that I started adding at the end of everything was this number sequence. Definitely worked for keeping people away. I can gobble my nuts. I appreciate your consent. Uh, we'll talk about it, but we won't. I figured. I figured, Zoomer. I didn't think you were propositioning me. And you're banned. Have to open up kick for this. Fucking atrocious. Do they really just like? There we go. Sweet. Nope. There we go. Ban. Cool. There's got to be auto moderation on kick, right? Ah, whatever. I just want to know how to clear it from. That's what I got right now. Dog won't stop barking. Anya was doing that this morning. I got to feed her, actually. I gotta make her some pasta and feed her. And then I have a consultation I'm doing. My old usernames are all Shadow Ruler E. It's funny the fucking the development, right? The fucking advancing of the internet names, right? There's that journey that people go through. This felt easier today. Do you guys feel like it's okay today? Because like I'm much more relaxed. I usually try to hype myself up for a stream, but then I get tired and it's not genuine and I can't do it as often. Today I just like, you know, did a light stretching, a little jogging, spent out time outside with Anya with a green tea latte, like. And it's still like sparking. That's tough. Dogs are a mystery. This felt chill, in a good way. Yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, it's probably going to be one of those things where like doesn't matter. This is probably going to be how I have to do it. Um. So, you know, um, I'm at a point with content creation where I think the growth will happen in terms of my personal growth, my ability to do it. But barking in your face, yeah, damn. Oh, that's right. You have like that breed that's basically like a horse dog. What's the what's that breed again? Beautiful dogs. Oh, I could turn on music. Do like a little lo-fi or something. That'll be my next. I could do that with a browser source. Uh, because I had to ban someone, and I have chat up on my my stream here. And Restream is not great at doing this stuff. Let's see. I can do pop-out chat. I have to check with bugs. Bernese Mountain Dogs. Yeah, that's the one. God, they're so beautiful. These dogs are so beautiful. Oh, here we go. We got the dedicated trolls. The spin bots. They're back. They couldn't get me. I stopped them on YouTube. I stopped him on Twitch. They're so desperate, they're coming for me on Kick. That's how you know you're making it. It's incredible. It's the same fucking guy every time. It's hilarious. It's so funny. It's been years. Oh my god. It's fucking amazing. Oh god. Yeah. I don't know how to clear chat, but we'll fix it eventually. I'll just turn Kick off for right now. Did I not log on? What happened? There's got to be like moderation on Kick. There we go. It's off. Didn't I just fucking ban you? Huh. That should be banned faster. Yeah, there's got to be moderation on Kick. That's fine. Arabic songs? Send them my way. You sent me the name of the channel, right? God, I have to go back and look at this stuff. Quick actions. There's gotta be. Is there a dashboard on Kick? There's gotta be. Setting creator dashboard. There's gotta be like a blacklist. Community. Dollar only. Let's do that. And then and spot protection. Locked terms. There's no like generic list. I have to manually enter that shit. It's fucking obnoxious. We'll do slow mode as well. Wait. 30 minutes remaining. Whatever. I'm not on Kick anymore. I'm not live there, so I just have to edit with the chat. Is there a way to DM it? Are you on Oh, I mean it's I mean like this person is just spinning but it's whatever. Like is there a way to DM it? Do you have Discord, Matt Kappa? There we go. You can do it on Restream. Cool. I'm on Discord. You can put it in the recommended recommendations or suggestions in the channel. The Discord description should be on Twitch. Let me just double check. I'm new to the whole streaming thing.
Well, that's great. I'm just gonna die again.
Let's see. Yes. Is this the right community though? This might be an old Discord. Okay. Yeah, it's not the right one. Oh, I don't have a bot yet, Mad Kappa. That's another thing I gotta fix. I need a Twitch bot, or I need to Twitch commands. I'll put the Discord link in chat. I think I can use a link in my own chat, you'd imagine. Give me a second here. Can I do it in my own thing? Yeah, I can. That's the Discord link. God, I haven't changed these things in fucking 6 years. Jeez. Crazy. Streaming is definitely like a new piece of, that's like a piece of content I need to work on 100%. So thanks for all tuning in and doing all that. It's time to feed on you. The video will be up tonight, maybe even sooner than that. It won't be too long for all this. And so Tink, that'll be good for you because you'll have the questions answered. Oh man, Anya's crying. All right, I will be on, I believe tomorrow. We're gonna go over other coaches talking about Beyonce, which is a new. I'm reacting to the reactions and adding commentary. Next level content creator move. All right, thanks for tuning in, y'all. See you in a bit, and yeah, I'll get to you guys on Discord. I appreciate it.